Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Ben Parks at 225 Marathon and I've run hundreds of races all around the UK, Europe and the world. And what I wanted to take you through today was my thought process in how to find races, how to choose the best races, and all about that, take you through everything I'm looking for in a really good race and how we've put together an epic race calendar here in 2023 to bring you guys some amazing content for the channel. So sit back, relax. I can't wait to get stuck into this one, guys. Let's get this video done. So first things first, you really got to think about what you want to get out of the race. Things like, is it your big goal race, your overriding goal race for the year? Is it just a warm-up race for that goal race? Maybe a marathon PB attempt, a really big 100-mile ultra, fast 5k, 10k. Just think about your goal and what you want to get out of it. And then what I like to do is set myself 2 or 3 goal races throughout the year, and they're nicely spread out. So for me, I tend to focus on road stuff, sort of at the start of the year up to like sort of the summertime, and that's when most of the big marathons are. So at the moment I'm training for London Marathon, that's my big sort of goal for the spring, but I've got a couple of warm-up races in the build up to that, and then after that I like to focus on the trails throughout the summer. So trail racing, I'm getting out into the mountains and spending some time in some beautiful scenery as well. And then after that, in the autumn, I switch back to the autumn marathons. And then towards the end of the year, once we get to December, I tend to have that off completely. So it's a really good idea to get a calendar, map that out throughout the year, put in your big goal races, and then everything else can sort of go around that. So how are we going to go about finding these races? Well, you've got to get your laptop out basically and start searching around in a few directories and places. Now, this is where we would recommend looking and where we always start. So websites like marathonrunnersdiary.com, findarace.com. Run Britain have a really good directory of races. You can search exactly sort of different distances, different areas of the country as well. Let's do this. Maybe join some of Facebook running groups and ask in there from people, say where you live and what you're looking for. And if you're looking for some more sort of traily things, look at the UTMB index races. Not necessarily the UTMB races, they're good, but there's not many here in the UK, and you've got to travel around for a lot of those, but they have the index races, and that will give you a really good list of trail running places. And then why not have a look at some charity running things? So you might just go on Google and type in, I don't know, cancer research running races, and then they'll list some of their really popular races that they're looking for people to come and join and help raise money for them. The Trail Running Association, again, good list of all sorts of different trail races. This is quite sort of UK and Europe specific, so please guys, down in the comments, if you are from a bit further afield, let us know some really good websites where you like to look for real races. Let us know down in the comments and help out the running community. So hopefully by this stage you may have shortlisted a few races that you're looking at. So now it's time to do a cross-check, sense check, and see which ones you think are going to be best. So for me, this is what I like to go through in sort of my sort of process. So think about the cost of entry, how much you've got to spend to get there. Have you got to have a night in a hotel? Any new kit you've got to buy? That should all factor in not just the cost of the race, but the cost of the whole experience. What's the entry process like? Is it a ballot? Can you just enter? Have you got to qualify for it as well? And then time of year, summer, winter, is it going to be hot, cold? Could it be snowy? Do you have enough time to train for it? And my big one, what time of day does it start? I'm not an early riser. I hate running races at sort of 7, 8 in the morning. London Marathon's great because it's 10, perfect time. Something like Trans Gran Canaria starts at 11 p.m. Are you going to be all right with that? You're going to be running through the whole night to start with. So yeah, do some research and find out when they start. Another great one, try and find the course profile for the race. Now I do some sort of stalking on Strava, try and find some segments on the course, click onto that segment, and hopefully it will bring up some people's races and you can see how they did, what their comments are like, and look at the course profile. Of course, download some GPX files if it's some trail races, and hopefully most of the time they'll put a course profile on the relevant website. Is it laps? 1 lap, 2 laps, 3 laps? It can be really tough on the mind if it's multiple laps. Something you might want to put into your training as well. What's the total elevation like? What's the terrain like underfoot? Is it going to be on closed roads? Really good idea to check out YouTube for some footage of races. People like myself love to vlog the races for the experience, and it really helps people then choose and select their next races. A lot of people get in touch with us and say, I did this race because I saw you do it. So check those out. We'll link to a little playlist of all of our races. You may get some inspiration from those down below. Moving on, things to think about, sort of the logistics of it all. Have you got to go to an expo before the race? Have you got to be in the city of the race before you get there. Things like Brighton Marathon, you had to travel all the way down to Brighton the day before, back to London, and then back down to Brighton for the race. London Marathon, you've got to go to Excel before the race. Things to factor in with that costing as well. Are you going to be wanting to bring lots of other people along with you? How accessible is the course going to be for spectators? And also things to think about, like how you're going to get from the start to the finish, hopefully running. But if you've got some spectators with you, then they're going to need to catch public transport around. Quickly guys, today's question of the day is quite simply, what is your favourite race out there? Let us know down in the comments, help out the community, and have a browse. You might find your next one as well. Right, back to the video. Good to look at how many people are actually expected to be running in the event as well. So some people would love a big city marathon with 40, 50,000 people running in London or New York or one of those ones. Some people much prefer a much smaller, local, community type race. So look at the size of the start field. You might not like being all cramped up on the start line, as we can sometimes be. Just think about that and what's going to make you most relaxed before your race. You may want to have a look at cut-off times in the races. Now, most big marathons are sort of fairly generous, but people that like to get a bit more value for money out of their running might take a little bit longer. You may want to have a look at that. But it's not all about that. Something like the Fukuoka Marathon, for example, the cut-off is 2:45. So yeah, check this before you enter to make sure you're going to be getting around comfortably. It's so important with running, especially when choosing a race, to find your why. Why are you doing it? Because in your training, and especially in the race when it gets hard, you're going to want to draw on that. If you're just doing a race that doesn't mean anything, it's going to be a little bit harder to get around. Maybe you're raising some money for charity. You've seen London Marathon on TV and how amazing it is. You're going to be really inspired to get there. Find your why in your training and also in the race you're choosing as well. Look at what the courses are giving out. Things like toilets, bag drop, nutrition out in the course, aid stations as you go around. Try and get some experience of what that's going to be like and what your race day sort of experience will be like. And then things like post-race, you're going to get a medal. Do you want a medal? Some races now like to sort of plant a tree instead of medal, t-shirts, maybe some prize money if you're one of the sort of faster athletes out there. Quickly guys, if you are finding this video useful, please smash that like button and answer today's question of the day is, what is your favourite race out there? Help out the community and let's make a lovely directory of the best races out in the comments. If you don't already, hit that subscribe button. Right, back to the video. Also, the reputation of the race organizer. It means so much. Check what their deferral policies are like. Check what their sort of pregnancy options are like. Any sort of insurance you might want to take out in case you unfortunately might get injured before the day. A lot of that, it will be part of the entry, but you might have to pay a little bit extra for those insurance policies. We saw the controversy with Brighton Marathon recently, and it's great to see London have taken that over now and the event's going ahead as planned. But a lot of people came to me and said, would you enter Brighton? I said, please don't enter Brighton. But now it looks a lot safer going forward with London. And then finally, have you got some really big, ambitious, long-term goals that maybe your races this year could catapult you through to do next year? So maybe you want to run a particularly fast qualifying time, so you've got to run a fast course now, and then you can get your BQ and then go to Boston. Maybe you want to do some of the UTMB races to go and do a UTMB race next year. Think of that bigger picture and how everything links together, not just this year, but 2024 and 2025 as well. So that's it guys. I generally go through all of those points every time we are putting a race together to really find the best sort of things out there, not only for myself, but to also create some content for you guys out there. So that's another one factor that I have to add in, is what's going to create the best video, the best atmosphere out on the course as well. Let us know, what are your favorite races down below, because that's what this video is all about, finding those amazing races out there. Check out my top pinned comment down below, and I'm going to put my top 5 slightly quirky races out there. It's very easy just to say London Marathon, Berlin, New York and that sort of thing, but I've got 5 quirky little races that I think you might like, and we'll see you soon on the start line, out getting it done very soon. That's it guys, hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you in the next one.